What is up, tacticians? In today's video, I'm going to go over things that helped me get to Masters in TFT. Now, some of these things have to do with your fundamentals, and some of them have to do with things that you need to practice outside of TFT. Now, I know a lot of people in the community, or not a lot, but like some people in the community, like have a different point in rank that like is considered high elo and low elo. But at the end of the day, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think getting to Masters is like the easiest thing in the world. Like, yes, I think that anybody can pick up TFT, watch a couple guide videos, and really work on their fundamentals and get to Masters easily in a couple months, right? So I don't necessarily consider Masters low elo. I definitely think it is one of the higher elos. And yeah, if you put in the work, if you put in the effort, I definitely think anybody can get there. But like I said, does not mean it's necessarily easy. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of share sort of like tips and advice and like how you should approach each game with TFT, and like how these things will help you sort of like get to your desired rank, right? So let's get started. So the first tip, let's see, set yourself up to win before the game even start. Now, what does this mean? Before you even queue up the game, just remove every distraction. Like, you don't need your phone out, you don't need to be on social media, you don't need to be texting your girlfriend or boyfriend, you don't need to be texting your grandma. Just put that phone away, put it on mute or do not disturb if you really have to, and close all your streams, your YouTube videos. No, you don't need to be watching Soju yelling at the screen. You don't need to have dish soap or mort dog on your YouTube video. No, just close that. Just remove every distraction and make sure to not be in any Discord calls. This is kind of a mistake that I wish I fixed a lot sooner, and is that like I would sometimes play ranked TFT games while being in a Discord call with my friends, and I'd be streaming it for them. And it's like, I think now that I look back to some of those VOD reviews, like I definitely made a lot more mistakes that like could have been easily avoided, just because I was distracted, right? So just get rid of that. Leading on with that, treat each game and each round, and that part's very important, with intention, because you get limited amount of time each round to set up your board, like reposition, build items, sell or buy new champions, roll, level up. There are so many things you can do each round, and depending on what you do each round, you can potentially lose or save a lot of HP. Now, let's say you were distracted and you forget to reposition, and there are like 3 Sejuani players in the lobby. And because of that, your carries get stunned, and you could have potentially killed more units or even won the round, but instead you lose the round and you lose to like 5+ units, right? Now, depending on what stage you are in, you can see in the picture right here, you will lose more HP. So on the left side, you can see that's the base amount of damage you lose per stage. Just for losing, like you can lose to 0 units, like you can tie with somebody, and that is the base damage you'll lose if there are no units remaining. And now if they have remaining units, depending on how many units, you can see the calculation right there. So even if you are trying to lose, like you're intentionally trying to be on a loss streak, the way you position, whether you slam an item or two, definitely helps you conserve HP, right? Because like there are moments where like at the end game, I would get 5th place just because the guy in 4th place had 2 more HP than me. Now in the early game, like let's say stage 2, let's say I lost 1 less game, then that's a potential tie I could have had, or potentially I could have placed higher than them by 1 placement. So it is very important to play each round with intention, and because of that, you need to minimize all the distraction. Keep in mind, this is your ranked game, and this is your LP that's on stake. So you need to take it seriously. Like, you can't like that 1/8 place you get is going to cost you so much that like it's just not even worth it. Like you just spent 30 minutes losing a game that like wasted a couple hours that it took you to even get to that place. So take your game seriously. Make sure you just get rid of all distractions. Now, one thing that I didn't put up here is no music. Personally, I can't really focus with music on, but I know that there are a lot of people that where music actually helps them focus. So I purposely didn't leave it on there, but obviously that's up to you. That's your personal preference. If music distracts you, then obviously get rid of it. And if music helps you, then by all means. So next thing, keybinds. I think that this is one of the things that a lot of people sleep on, and it's that you gotta set up the keybinds that work for you. Now, there are default keybinds like E is to sell units, D is to roll, and F is to buy XP. I think those keybinds are perfectly fine, but if those don't work for you, then obviously go into your settings and make sure you change them. And set a keybind for each player. Now, what I mean by that is on the right side, you can see that there are players, right? There's people in 1st through 8th. And you can click on them individually to see their board, right? But that just takes way too much time, especially in like late games where you have to like reposition for like set Sejuani or like a Leona or even a Morgana, right? Like you have to position for each game. And so typically you will be, except the first few rounds in stage 2, because obviously like you have a chance to go against everybody. But typically after stage 2, like you will be, you'll see like an X mark, like a combat mark, saying that you have the potential chance to go against these people. And generally it's going to be 3 people. And so the reason why this is important is if you have a keybind for each player, you can scout those 3 players very quickly. And being able to scout them quickly is time that you save and time that you earn to think about repositioning, think about swapping items, think about swapping champions, right? And so it just overall helps you be very quick. So this is a picture I pulled from lolchess.gg, and those are excuse me, those are basically the default keybinds. And for me, to scout players, I just have it on 1 through 5 for the 1st through 5th player. And then 6th through 8th, I actually have it on Z, X, and C. Now, that might be a little bit weird for anybody else, so you don't exactly have to copy my keybind, but I'm just letting you know what works for me. By doing this, I'm able to scout, like, let's say I have a chance to go against a 3rd, 6th, or 8th player. Like, I can easily click on 3, Z, and C. Like, I can just swap between those 3 and quickly scout, see if I need to reposition, see if they are contesting me, and just kind of those things. This leads, this kind of ties back to what I said earlier about how you need to try to conserve as much HP as possible. And this helps you do it. You scout, you position. Like generally I like to position my carries lined up with the weak side of the enemy, because now if I have like an Aphelios and Xayah, right, on the right side, and they are targeting the enemy's weak side, then they're going to quickly kill the weaker units, meaning that the opponent is going to have less units on their field. And so that just helps me kill more units, and even if I lose because I killed a couple units, I'm going to conserve some HP. So scouting, very important, but in order to scout efficiently, you need to set up the right keybinds. Now moving on with kind of exploring more with scouting, I kind of see some players like scout, but like I'm not really sure if they understand what they should be looking for, right? You need to be scouting with purpose. Now what does that mean? Tank items are probably one of the most important items in the game. Like, I think that if I'm going to prioritize itemizing a carry, it's going to be my tank 100% of the times. Like, people will often like try to get double rage blade, Hextech Gunblade on Aphelios because like that's the BIS, right? Like, people are trying so hard to get Rageblade on Aphelios. But to be honest with you, I don't even think you need to put Rageblade on Aphelios. Like, if I have to just put like Last Whisper, i.e. Giant Slayer on Aphelios, I'll be happy with that, as long as my frontline Leona or Jarvan has the best items possible. Because if they have the best items possible, despite Aphelios not having Rageblade, his best item, like, he can literally still clear the units because now Leona is buying space, right? So tank items are important. So when you're scouting, the important thing you need to look for is like, is the lobby AP heavy or is it AD heavy? Because obviously if it's AP heavy, you want to build things like Dragon's Claw more often, right? And then if it's AD heavy, you want to build Bramble Vest. Now if it's kind of mixed, you can do like a Gargoyles, or you can kind of like see like, okay, I feel like this guy is going, like, maybe it's like later in the game, right? It's like, oh, this guy's at 91 HP at stage 5. Like, he's gonna be in the lobby by the time everybody's out. So let me focus on building against him, right? It's like, this one's like a little bit more advanced, but like, if you know your counter matchup, like if you know that like your comp gets specifically countered by this one guy's comp, then you can specifically build against them, right? So that's one thing to keep in mind when you're scouting. And the other thing that you need to keep in mind is potential contesters, right? Like, let's say someone is, you can see that someone's contesting you on stage 2. You can immediately see, like, do they have a better opener than me, right? Like, do they have, like, let's say you are both going Street Demon. I know that last patch was a patch for people who knew how to play contested, and that's one thing, right? Like, okay, like everybody in the lobby is trying to go Street Demon. Okay, so scout the lobby. Does one guy have freestyling? Does one guy have level 2 Zyra, level 2 Echo, level 2 Mundo at stage 2? Like, do they have upgraded units, items slammed? Like, do they have a better start than you? And if they do, you have to ask yourself, okay, can I still contest this person? Is there other people contesting us, right? And if there are 3 people contesting each other, is this comp like suitable? Like, can 3 of you actually play this comp and you have a chance to still come out at top? If the answer is no, then it's still stage 2. Even if it's stage 3, you can easily pivot, as long as like you don't have like crappy items slammed. Like, you can still pivot and you can still look for better openers. And that's another thing. You gotta check, like, okay, does the lobby have a lot of econ? Like, did a lot of people take econ augments? Did the people contesting me take econ augments, right? Because if the people contesting me took econ augments, that means that they're able to reach econ intervals before me. Therefore, they're going to be richer than me. Hence, they're going to be able to roll at level 8 before me or with more gold, right? So now they have a better chance at hitting the units before me, and they actually have a chance to even hold those units against me, right? So if you know that the people contesting you have better econ than you, or a better opener, or better items, then you just gotta ask yourself, is it worth contesting? Or am I gonna, because like at the end of the day, if you know that they have a better opener than you and you're contesting them, your mind is basically saying, okay, I'm gonna go 1st or 8th this game. And like I said earlier, those 8th place games are going to hurt you more than you think, and it's just simply not worth it. Like, I'd rather you pivot into like a B tier comp, like a very shittier comp, and get like 6th place or get like 5th place, you know, then just kind of go on that 1st or 8th mindset and then end up getting 8th. Because you could eventually go 1st because you high rolled, or that like the person contesting you low rolled, but like it's just not worth it. Like, you're just gambling your ranked game. So yeah, moving on. Again, like I said, when you're scouting, you need to see if the enemy units are going to CC you, or if they have burst threats. And what I mean by that is, like, do they have Leona and Zaya on one side, where they can immediately burst you down, immediately open up that lane, right? And that could be a problem, because if Xayah and Aphelios burst down your weak side and then they get to your back line, then like you just kind of lose the game there. And recently, another thing that I've seen with Bastion and Morgana is if you have your carry on the same side as Morgana, she actually can reach your backline with her ability, and your backline will immediately get one shot because she is very, very strong. So those are positioning is more of a like a trial and error thing. Like, you're going to be playing a lot of games as you're climbing ranked anyways, so just keep in mind, and this is why I record my games too, is that I can always look back and see like, oh, against this unit, like I saw that this was very common, so maybe next time I'll try this. So it's sort of a thing that you just gotta experiment on your own. And of course there are guides out there on positioning, but that can be very helpful, but those are for specific scenarios, and I personally think those will help, but I think it'll help more if you review your own games and kind of see like the positionings that you do most often and if they work or not, right? So moving on, play your strongest board. Now, I think this is one of the common things that people hear in the community, right? It's like pro players will always say, you gotta play your strongest board, you gotta play your strongest board. But what does that even mean, right? Like, what if my shop just rolls like just a bunch of tier 1s that like are useless and don't really synergize with each other? What do I do then, right? So starting off, things to keep in mind is a 2-star unit is going to be generally better than activating a trait early, right? So for example, let's say you have a 2-star Vi and a 2-star Alistar. Vi is a Vanguard, Alistar is a Bruiser. So obviously you're not activating any traits there. However, those are 2-star, very strong 2-star units. And keep in mind frontline too, very strong 2-star units that you are putting onto your field. And that itself is going to be better than a 1-star Vi and a 1-star Skarner. Now, Vi and Skarner are both Vanguards, so putting these two in is going to activate Vanguard 2, right? And although Vanguard 2 gives you stats, as if you were to have slammed an item on them, but like, it's still just not as good as a 2-star Alistar and 2-star Vi, considering the fact that like, Alistar is one of the strongest tanks right now, at least early on. So why are you playing 2 weak units just to activate a trait over when you have 2 upgraded units, even if they don't synergize with each other? At least this is the case early on. Like, for most of, like, all of stage 2 and like most of stage 3, you can get away with this. But like starting like stage, like late of stage 3 and like maybe stage 4, you might need, you do need to start like having more synergizing units, which is what I'm going to kind of get into here. Is stop holding weak and not synergizing units. And what I mean by that is like, you have your team planner, right? Like, you also have your meta TFT open, and it's like, it says that your final board needs to look like this. You need to have a Silas, Jarvan, Rost, Leona. That's your 4 Vanguard, and then you need to have your 4 Marksman. But that doesn't mean that you should start holding those items unless it's like a tier 4. If you find an early Leona or Aphelios or Xayah, like, of course hold them, because those are going to be harder to find. But let's say at like stage 3, you're level 6 on stage 3-2. Like, here, let me show you. Let's say it's stage 3-2 and you're level 6. And let's say this is your current board. Let's see. So you have Alistar, Mundo, Gragas, and like Mordekaiser. So this is your front line. You have a Bruiser 4. And then your back line is like a Kog'Maw Kindred. Because, you know, you hold Kindred and Kog'Maw because you generally want to hold them early for Vanguard Marksman. Now, the comp's name is there. It's Vanguard Marksman. You're asking, why do I have Bruiser 4 active? Well, you see, this board, Bruiser 4, and just, you know, 2 of your whatever backline is strictly stronger than something like, let's say, you have 1 Braum, 1 Silas, and like a Vi. Where's Vi? And then you just have like something extra in, right? Like, let's say you have this, right? You have Vanguard 3, Marksman 2, Rapid Fire 2. Like, this itself is strong. Like, by all means, if this is your strongest board, if these are the units that you could find, then fine, play this. But, like, let's just say, like, your shop is just not giving you any Vanguards, but these are the 3 that you find. Like, sure, you can hold them in your bench, like, if you can still make your next econ interval. But, like, you have a 1-star Silas, 1-star Vi, 1-star Braum. But, like, in your shop, all of a sudden, there's... You kind of high roll, and there's a 2-star Gragas. You can immediately pick up a 2-star Gragas, and you have that level 2 Mundo from earlier. It's like, why are you playing this weaker frontline when you can have an upgraded frontline? They're both 2 stars. One of them's literally giving you Divine Core buff, and you know they're at Bruiser 2. Like, why are you at Vanguard 3 with very weak units that aren't upgraded? So that's just kind of my point, right? It's like, oh, like here, to give you an example, it's like I'm going Vanguard Marksman, and it's like Meta TFT says this is what my final board needs to look like. So I'm going to only hold these units, and that is a very big mistake, that you are only holding these units and you're not holding any other units. Like I said earlier, you get a level 2 Gragas in your shop, you pick it up. Like, you immediately pick that up and you put that in, because that is going to make your team a lot stronger. A level 2 Gragas is going to be a lot stronger than a level 1 Rost, or a level 1 Silas, or a level 1 Jhin. Like, you can still hold these units if you find them, as long as you can make your next econ interval. And you could even sacrifice your econ interval if it means that, like, you're going to save less, like, save more gold in rolling later, right? So that's just very important to keep in mind, to always play your strongest board. Play with what the game gives you. Don't just be like, don't already play your final board. Like, because at the end of the day, you could end up even pivoting. So it's like, why are you holding units that are not synergizing with your current board and aren't exactly the strongest in your current board, right? And that leads us into always try to tempo. And this kind of like builds up to the previous point of like, you're trying to conserve HP every round. Every round that you save 1 or 2 HP will add up later and can cost you a 4th to 5th place. So that's very important to keep in mind, which is why always, if you are given the option to tempo, like let's say on 2-1 you take a combat or item augment and you have upgraded units, like what is the point of loss streaking there, right? You want to save HP. But there are specific scenarios, specific strategies that do kind of like make it make sense for you to not necessarily tempo. And these are kind of the 4 cases. It's like, you took an econ augment on 2-1, right? Let's say you took hedge fund and you're already at like 30-40 gold. You're not really going to use that gold to level up, or you're not really going to use that gold to roll down. You're just going to buy whatever is in your shop and kind of play your strongest board, but ultimately your goal taking hedge fund is to reach econ intervals a lot quicker than other people. And what I mean by that is you're trying to make interest and you're trying to get richer than everybody in the lobby. So you don't necessarily have to tempo. If anything, because you're not really buying units, because you're not upgrading units, because you're not leveling up, you're naturally going to be weaker than everybody else. So you're not going to be able to necessarily tempo or go on a win streak, right? So it's just natural to purposely sack the first two stages, right? And that's another thing. You get to do that, and you'll be punished less because typically during like stage 2 and 3, you lose less HP. Like I showed you on that graph earlier, on stage 2, you lose the least amount of HP. So if you're gonna lose and purposely lose, that's the stage to do it, right? Another reason to do it is if your comp plays better on a loss streak, and obviously that kind of includes things like Cypher, right? Unless you have hostile takeover, with Cypher you generally want to go on a loss streak so that you can save up as much cash out, so that you know you're basically trading HP for money, and so obviously that's going to work. Your comp literally requires you to do that, so obviously you're going to do it. Another reason is if you need item priority. Now, generally this goes for comps like Vexotech or like Street Demon when it used to be a lot more popular. Is you like Vex, for example, you need blue buff on her, right? If you don't have blue buff on her, your placement is going to change by a lot. So not only blue buff, but you also need Hextech Gunblade on her, because Hextech Gunblade is literally what makes Vex do a lot more damage, strictly a lot more damage. So you obviously need those perfect items. And so if your comp requires you to have those perfect items, then you're obviously going to want to try to loss streak so that you can have item priority on the carousel, because you're going to be going first on the carousel. So your chances of not getting it is probably very, very, very low, especially if you're going first. So that's another reason. And another reason to not really tempo or kind of go on a loss streak is like if you scouted, like you scouted on stage 2 and your shop is pretty mid, like you didn't really get strong units to hold, you didn't get any upgrades, and your augment wasn't really the best on 2-1. In that case, like compared to everybody else, right? Like everybody else like had a really strong combat augment start, where they have upgraded units, they have items slammed. It's like there's no like way you're going to beat them. Like even if you leveled up and rolled a little bit, like there's absolutely no way to beat them. Then in that case, stage 2 is definitely the time you want to go on a loss streak, because like I said, that's when you lose the least amount of HP. So that's just kind of like what I mean by play your strongest board. Is like just play around what the game gives you, instead of like already creating your final board. Like you don't need that random ass Silas in if it's just 1 star, when you literally have a level 2 Gragas that will provide your team so much more power. And like the one time you can make this argument that you shouldn't do it is if you're going on a loss streak, like you're playing Cypher, you have Cypher 5, and you want to purposely lose, like guaranteed loss, then yeah, by all means. But unless that's the case, you're always going to want to play the stronger unit over whatever unit's going to go in your comp later. Alright. Slam Slart, do not be greedy. Now, like, you know, if we go back to Meta-TFT here, you're going to see these items, right? It's like, oh, on brand, you have to put Jewel Gauntlet, Guardbreaker, and Chojin. Oh, on MF, you have to put Deathblade, Infinity Edge, Last Whisper. No, that is not the case. Like, yes, there are champions that you do have to be very specific with the items. Like Annie, you need blue buff. You need blue buff. Nashor's Tooth naturally helps her, because like, you know, she's going to cast a lot with blue buff, and she's going to get a lot of value from Nashor's Tooth. And because of she's getting a lot of value from Nashor's Tooth, she's going to give a lot of value from Zero Shojin. So these these items are very, very important for Annie, which is why in most cases you do want these items. And like Shaco, for example, IE is very important because like he just needs to crit, and then he needs a healing item, so Hodge or Bloodthirster is definitely nice. But Hands of Justice is Hodge is a lot better because it gives him that crit chance. And the Edge of Night is very important because he's going to be in the middle of the board half the time, or in the back line. So his chances of getting bursted out by the carry is very high. so Edge of Night is important. So there are champions that like you do like really want to build these items, but at the same time, like these like so-called true bists, like the best items for them, don't have to happen every game. So because like sometimes you're not going to get those items. Sometimes you're not going to get a blue buff on any, and that might cost you one placement. But depending on how you slammed items on her, you can still kind of make up for that. So in cases where you're trying to like win streak, you want to slam items. And more so, like you shouldn't even be thinking about a win streak if you don't feel like you can slam any items. Like let's just say you have like a sparing glove, cloak, and a belt, and you don't want to slam Evan Shroud because you don't want to commit to an AD comp, and you don't want to slam QSS because you feel like the sparing glove could be used for something so much better. And maybe guard breaker is like the one thing that you feel comfortable slamming, because guard breaker can go on anybody, really, any like backliner. But like let's just say you don't want to slam those, then I mean in that case like you're not even looking to win streak here, especially like if everybody else is stronger than you. But I'm going to say that like at least in stage 2 it's a little bit different. Like stage 2, if you're trying to lost streak, then fine, have 3 or more components on your bench. But even then, like after the carousel, like you generally want to have at least 1 item slam by then. So the general rule of thumb is try not to have more than 3 components on your bench at a given time. Because like I said, that you slamming an item could potentially save you an HP or 2. And again, that's going to add up. And if you can't really slam items, it kind of goes to show that like you're trying to force a comp that you shouldn't be going. Like let's just say you're trying to go Vanguard Marksman, but like you're not getting swords or sparing gloves or recurve bows, right? You're just getting a bunch of tiers, you're getting a bunch of rods. Like you're getting AP items, but you're trying to force Vanguard Marksman because that's the comp you want to play. But like you're not able to slam, like tier is going to be at most used for like Redemption, Protector's Vow, maybe a Shojin for Xayah, right? But if you can't slam any of those, like you have double tier, or like you have tier and a bow, then you might need to look into the fact that like you're probably trying to like force a comp. Like maybe you're just one tricking a comp, but like it's just not going to work out unless like you're a really high leveled player, which in many cases, if you're watching this guide, I'd imagine that you're probably not in Challenger, right? Or you're probably not a pro player. So yeah, like if you notice that you're holding like 5 to 6 item components in your bench, that just kind of goes to show that like you're probably not thinking about what comp you should be playing based off of your items, and that could be a very huge factor to your TFT placements. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just kind of like notice that if you feel like that's what you're doing, kind of like call yourself out on that. Know when you should be flexible versus like a risky slam. Now, tank items generally safe to slam, like Warmogs, Gargoyles, Sunfire, Bramble, Dragon's Claw. Like even if the lobby is like not as AD heavy, like Bramble's Claw, like if you really have to slam it, if that's going to get you the early win streak, if that's going to help you keep your win streak, then by all means do it. Because at the end of the day, Bramble still provides your tank good tank stats, and although its passive is not really being used if like a lot of the lobby is like mages, like that's fine. Like you're still getting value if you're keeping that win streak, if you're being intentional with your slam. Like you know why you slammed it, and you can justify why you did. So tank items are generally safe to slam if you have to. Now, risky slams are when you're trying to slam it a specific like AD or AP item, but you're not even sure what comp you want to go, right? Like, that's like slamming an IE, but like you're still not fully committed to which comp you're going. Like, let's say you have a tier, sword, and a sparing glove. You can slam Shojin, you can slam IE, you can slam Hodge, right? But like now, if you slam IE there, now you're forced to go an AD comp. And one of the reasons why that's bad, especially if you didn't scout the lobby yet, is let's say there's a lot of the lobby is like AD heavy. Like there's someone going Zeri Misfortune, there's someone going Anima, there's someone going Vanguard Marksman. Like, you're not safe. Like you slammed an IE and now you're like forced to go an AD comp, but like half the lobby is already going an AD comp, so it's like you sort of limited your options. Now you kind of have to play contested. So that's sort of a risky slam. So if you don't like, if you're really not sure what comp you're going, like I said, in stage 2, it's perfectly fine to not slam items. Because stage 2 is a time where you decide you want to go on an intentional loss streak, or you're just, yeah, like you get to choose. I'm going to go on a loss streak because I don't have upgraded board, I can't slam any items, my augment is mid, like, or I need to go first in the carousel to get better items. So yeah, like, don't slam it. But by stage 3, you should have enough item components to have a general idea of what comp you're going, at least in terms of whether you're going to go AD or AP comp. So again, in the worst case scenario that like you are still not sure what comp you're going and your items are like looking kind of bad, try to slam tank items, because you cannot go wrong with tank items. Like, yes, tank items are very important. It's very important what kind of tank items you slam, but tank items will ultimately help you conserve as much HP as possible. So worst case scenario, just slam those tank items. Save components only if your board can't win anyway. Yep, that's kind of what I was just explaining. Like I said, don't randomly slam a component, like don't randomly slam item if you're going on a loss streak, right? Unless you know that the entire lobby is strong enough for you to still lose anyways. And then the final point, and this is the most important thing, is always have anti-heal and shred and sunder. Like, I'm going to say this. Your Annie has blue buff, naturally chosen. Congrats. She has the most perfect items on her. Congratulations. But now you don't have Ionic Spark or Static Shift. You don't have shred for her. Boom. All this itemization you did for her is meaningless because now she does less damage. She does significantly less damage because now she's going to be stuck on the enemy tank and she's not going to be able to kill the tank because the tank has so much MR that like Annie's just doing 0 damage. Like, congrats, you just slammed BIS items on Annie. Now she's doing less damage because the tank is healing up all the damage or they're resisting it. So it is very important. It does not matter whether you can get perfect items or not on your carries if you do not have anti-heal and shred or sunder. So that should be your number 1 priority. Always going for anti-heal. Slam Sunfire if you have to, but I do prefer a splash a splash anti-heal item like red buff and like mid-Elo, because then you can give that to a backline carry that generally like does an AoE if AoE sort of ability or attack, so that's kind of nicer to have. But if you have to slam Sunfire because that's your only source of anti-heal, then by all means do it, because it is very important and a lot of your games can change whether you build anti-heal and shred and sunder, so keep that in mind. I think this is the last one, and it's to stop rage queuing. Yes, losing sucks. That 8th place you just got after like 4 4th places in a row, and that 1 8th place just literally lost it all, right? You just spent 2 hours getting 4 4th places, and then you just spend another 30 minutes, and then you get 8th place. Boom. You just lost all the LP that you just gained today. That sucks. And the reality is that there's not much you can really do about the fact that it happened. Now, what you can do is learn from it and sort of prevent it from happening again. That is what you can do. Because just like anything in life, if something already happened and it sucks, you can't go back and change it. But you can prevent it from happening again after assessing all the damages. So even though losing sucks, if you decide to rage queue and queue even more games after losing, that's just gonna lose you more and more and more LP. So one of the things I recommend after a loss is first, like, take a break. Like, even if it's like a 2-minute break. 2-minute break to gather yourself, to just breathe, or just go outside and just feel the fresh air. Just do whatever it is that helps you get back to your calm state. And one of the things I recommend doing is watching your replays. And if you see my channel, I do kind of a VOD review on my ranked games. And a lot of that is to kind of create content and make sure and kind of like put out content where people can learn from. But also, I think the most important thing for me is that I am learning from those replays myself. It doesn't matter if, like, obviously it matters that I care that you guys also learn from my videos, but all of that is sort of meaningless to me if I'm not getting anything out of it. If I'm just watching my videos and I'm not commenting on them and I'm just literally just watching what happened, then nothing is being done. So one of the things I always keep in mind, like kind of like point out, is, am I making a consistent mistake? Am I making a mistake that I made a couple videos ago or a couple games ago, right? Am I doing it again? Why am I doing it again? And is this costing me placements? If it is, how am I going to fix it, right? So watch your replays, kind of see like where you're doing things wrong and where you're doing things right. And that's also important too. Like I said, take a break. Even if it's literally just 2 minutes, like literally just take a break. Do not click play. Do not click play again. Do not click play. Close the league client. Close your TFT app. Just literally come back when you are feeling fresh, when you are calm. Because it's normal for you to have... It's normal for you to like sort of rage and get upset if, like, you know, it feels like the RNG just wasn't on your side that game, right? Or somebody that's contesting you hit their level 2 tier 4s and tier 5s way before you and you were out of control. Like, if anything, maybe you rolled first or you're uncontested. RNG just screwed you over. It happens. TFT is a strategy game, but there is a lot of RNG components in it. And sometimes you're going to be a victim of those crappy RNG. And there's literally nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do about it is identify your mistakes, what you could have done better to maybe place one placement higher, right? So that's the only thing you can do. The only thing you could fix is your mistakes. And you're not going to do any of that if you are angry, if you're tilted, you're mad at the game, and all you want to do is get back that 70 LP you just lost. Like, none of that's going to... like, you are not going to be able to get those LP back if you are angry. If you're angry at yourself, angry at the game, whatever it is, right? So just come back when you're clear-headed and make sure to take care of yourself. Ask yourself, did you eat today? Or did you play 16 hours of TFT and you didn't even have a chance to eat? And not only did you eat, but like, did you eat well? Like, or did you just eat junk food, right? Like, make sure you're eating quality food. Make sure you're eating food that's good for your brain. Are you drinking enough water? Like, if you are dehydrated, you are going to perform a lot worse. And so it is very important to drink water, taking care of yourself. And did you move your body? Like, if your body's just in one position all day and it's stiff, then I mean, like, your body's stressed, so your mind's going to be stressed, so you're going to perform worse. These are just tiny things that kind of add up. And did you get some sunlight? Like, sunlight is obviously very important. And all of these things just kind of like work with each other, right? Like, you take care of yourself and your body is going to be able to help you perform a lot better. So despite this not being really a TFT fundamental, this is just sort of a general thing that helps you do better in anything in life, really. So obviously TFT is one of the things you do in life, so why not take care of yourself? Like, there's literally zero reasons why you shouldn't be taking care of yourself. And yeah, but the final point is that TFT is fun. It is very fun. It can be addicting, whatever. It can be addicting, but it isn't all there is to life. Like, I'm obviously creating content on TFT because I genuinely enjoy TFT, and I like creating content on it. So that's why I'm doing it, because it's fun. It's providing me a lot of joy in life. But it isn't everything there is to life. So I'm not playing 16 hours of TFT because TFT isn't all there is to life. So I'm gonna take a break from TFT sometimes. You know, like, yeah, I'm not gonna sit there playing it for 8 hours a day. And even if I do play 8 hours of TFT in one day, I generally take an hour break every 2 hours or so, right? Like, always make sure to take breaks. But yeah, that's just sort of these are sort of the tips that, like, I have for you guys. With whatever rank you're trying to reach, like, these tips have have a lot of truth to each one of them. Like, yes, some of them could be explained a lot better, some of them could be more situational, but overall, like, not rage queuing, that is just single-handedly one of the most important things that you can do. And you know, going back, slam smart, don't be greedy. Like, you shouldn't be having more than 5, like more than 3, even 3 components on your bench, because that's just value. That's just like power, board power that you're sacrificing for what? Right? You're sacrificing it, and then you're sacrificing your placements. And playing your strongest board, like, just close that guide. Just put on your team planner what you need in your final board. But, like, just close that guide. Like, the guide tells you to play around this and that, but, like, the game's not going to give you that every game. You know, the game's not going to just hand out 4 vanguards at stage 3-2. Even if you roll down, it's just not going to hand it out to you every single game. Out of the 200 games you play, it is not going to give it to you all 200 games. Let alone all, like, even like 150, right? So just play what you get. Just you get a shittier unit that's upgraded, that's already stronger than what you have. Play it. Scouting with purpose. It happens. Every game, somebody's going to contest you. Maybe not. And every game, there's going to be a unit that's going to crowd control you. Scout. Scouting is literally the best and probably the only way to counter all these things. Probably changes you by 1 or 2 placements, depending on how you scout, because it conserves your HP. It helps you have a better board position to have a better chance to win. So, scout. But understand why you're scouting. Don't just go over to somebody's board and be like, oh, they're contesting me. Cool. Goodbye. Like, you didn't learn anything from that. Scout, but with purpose. And in order to scout better, you gotta have good keybinds. Now these are my keybinds, but you can always just kind of experiment with it. I do recommend doing it in like a normal game, obviously, because like if you're experimenting it within a ranked game, then you're obviously distracting yourself. So just queue up a normal game, change your keybinds. It doesn't matter if you lose a norms game, you're not losing LP. Your mental is not going to be ruined. That's fine. Just test it out on a normal game. And yeah, just this one's pretty simple. Simple and yet very, very effective. And then finally set yourself up to win before the game even starts. If you don't have the mindset to win, if you don't have the intention within you and that your actions don't even prove it, that you want to win, then you're just simply not going to win. You're only going to win if you just high roll. Like, TFT is not a game, like, unless you're just playing a norms game or the set 10 revival with your friends and you're just trying to have fun, you're just trying to giggle, or you're also creating content and you just want to, you know, kind of get a clip, whatever, then that's fine. But like if you're queuing up a ranked TFT game and you're just turning off your brain and you're just scrolling through social media, you're having Subway Surfers playing on the right side, like, and you're just watching brain rot, you're setting yourself up for failure. You are not being intentional with your game, and then you're gonna complain why you lost. So, like, just don't. It's just that simple. Just turn off everything except your brain. Keep your brain on. Do not autopilot. That it is probably the number one thing I can tell you. Just don't autopilot. Like, do every action that you perform in each round, do it with intention. Like, if I come up to you and ask you, why did you do that? You need to be able to give me an answer. You need to give me a straight up answer, even if it's wrong. It could be completely wrong. But if you can tell me why you did that, then that's already so much better than a lot of the people playing TFT. If you can explain to me why you did that, and if it's wrong, that's just something we can fix. If what you intentionally did was wrong, that is something that can be easily fixed. So make sure you do something with complete intention. So yeah, guys, those are the 6 things that I kept in mind in all my games. And some of those tips I learned later, and I wish that I learned it sooner, and I think it would have definitely helped me. But those are like the 6 giveaways, like 6 tips and tricks that I think would help a lot of you guys with whatever rank you're in. Definitely help you to push onto the next rank. So yeah, that's it. And let me know in the comments below if you have any questions, and if there are any other sort of guide videos that you want me to put out, let me know. And let me know if this format was helpful. Let me know if you prefer to have more visuals, more have like actual gameplay, me explaining it in gameplay, or if the slideshow format was okay as well. Yeah, just let me know, and I'll make sure to keep those feedback in mind. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.